At one time or another, all of us had to do something we would rather not do. There is a story that Lao Tzu, the legendary author of the Tao Te Ching, was very wise at a young age and worked as a librarian. He began to understand all the things that were wrong with society and government. Eventually, he determined to leave the kingdom, to immerse himself in the wilds of nature, and to live out the rest of his days in peace and solitude, escaping the corruption of civilization. So he began walking out of the kingdom with his long beard and robe swirling in the breeze, sandals crunching the dust and rocks underneath. A gatekeeper at the edge of the kingdom recognized him as a wise sage. No doubt the beard, the robe, and the sandals, they were dead giveaways. "Where are you going, O venerable one?" the gatekeeper asked. "Our country has been corrupted with terrible leaders for too long," Lao Tzu replied. "I'm headed beyond the Great Wall to live my life in the gentle flow of nature. The way has been forsaken for too long." "Please stay, O venerable one," the gatekeeper pleaded, "for you can teach us the way of harmony, of peace, and of balance." But the gatekeeper looked deeply into Lao Tzu's serene eyes and knew his mind was made up. "O venerable one, at the very least, write down your wisdom before you leave so that we may learn the way." So Lao Tzu, looking into the gatekeeper's feared and frantic face, started to write what we call now the first chapter of the Tao Te Ching, which starts with, "The Tao that can be told is not the eternal Tao. The name that can be named is not the eternal name." If even this mythical wise founder of Taoism was reluctant to stay and lead and teach, why should we? In this continuous constitutional crisis of a country, why not move to Canada or Cape Verde? Or live in some remote part of the Adirondacks with no cell phone reception? At the very least, we could stop reading the Facebook feeds, the New York Times, and watching MSNBC. A couple of centuries ago, after Lao Tzu, the emperor sent some of his court and a few soldiers to go fetch another Taoist master, Chung Tzu, who was living alone in the nearby hills. The men hiked and hiked, and near a waterfall found a small bamboo hut. He must be near. They found Chung Tzu in the shade of an old tree with a long flowing beard and a robe. Always dead giveaways. A member of the court blurted out, "The emperor requests that you now live in the palace and give him good counsel on how to rule." But Chung Tzu said, "I will not come." They asked him, "How can you decline this great honor?" Chung Tzu explained his decision by way of a story. There was a turtle who was sitting in a mud pool when he was captured and taken to the palace to be sacrificed. It was no doubt a great honor for the turtle. Its dried shell is now in a box, and it is said it can now tell the future. But don't you suppose the turtle might have been happier alive, swinging its tail in his pool of mud? Of course, the soldiers and the court members answered. "Then leave me be in my pool of mud and be gone." Sometimes we'd rather lay in our own pool of mud. We'd rather do that than to nudge the world back to sanity. I'd get it. We'd rather watch cat videos or lose ourselves in the excitement of Super Bowl Sunday. Engaging in politics and the world is not always fun, especially these last few weeks of chaos and presidential overreach. Yet if we let our lives speak, and truly listen, we just might hear the call of leadership. Do you hear it? Our world urgently needs leaders and gentle teachers like us. Leadership is more than someone who speaks inspiring words, is knowledgeable with fresh ideas, and gets things done. The type of leader we desperately need listens, and continuously learns, and only acts when the time is right. We are hardly aware of the greatest leaders and barely know they exist. They are out of the bright lights and sit in the shadows of the big trees. They are unknown and unsung. The praise of crowds might incite some to become leaders, but then also entraps them in their egoic narcissism. The greatest leaders do not call attention to themselves. It goes without saying, we do not have a Taoist U.S. president right now. Wouldn't it be nice if we didn't know what the president was doing and thinking at every hour and minute of the day? But I chose chapter 17 of the Tao Te Ching not to critique our current president and other politicians and leaders. This wisdom of the Tao is for us. Like it or not, we are involved in many forms of leaderships. Maybe we mentor students, maybe we manage employees or volunteer on a board. Perhaps we are parents, which is another kind of leader. Or maybe we're leaders in this congregation. We all have friends who from time to time need our leading. And we all lead ourselves. Sure, we all enjoy honor and affirmation. Who doesn't? But that is not why we lead. I remember decades ago now playing a jazz gig at a museum in Racine, Wisconsin. I had never played with these group of musicians before, but we sounded pretty good. It was the singer's gig, and after the gig, he very sincerely said to the group, "Let's all move to Las Vegas. We will be the envy of our peers." Now, I wasn't playing music to be the envy of my peers. I was playing because I loved the music and wanted others to feel it. In the same way, we lead with care and compassion, and that is its own reward. We don't need to say, look at me, see how hard I work and see all I've accomplished. The more we seek to be noticed, the less effective we are. We do our work with sincerity and honesty and trust, and then we let go. The heroic, charismatic leader who accomplishes all the things, who calls all the shots unilaterally and uses their superior power, they are often spiritually malnourished. The leader that is quiet and unnoticed brings everyone into ownership and has love in her heart. The greatest leader is the one we don't hear about on social media, but quietly gets things done. Think Jimmy Carter. We lead with humbleness in our hearts, always looking out for the good of the whole. We go with our people because we trust them. We encourage each other to look deep inside for our own solutions. We work without self-interest and put the people first. Ambition and the desire for fame is set aside. Possession of the glories of an imagined past are dropped. We work with others to address economic, environmental, and social problems, and along the way empower a diversity of people to be part of this ongoing process. Difference and interdependence are expected. Decisions are based on collaboration and collective wisdom of the group. This is the work of generative democracy, which is much, much bigger than winning or losing an election. Now, the threat of authoritarianism is real, and while there are needs for immediate action, our country also needs leaders who continuously build a democracy where everyone flourishes. To do this, we need leaders like us who have humility in their hearts, who work on updating bylaws, who run good meetings, and in the process, restore trust in each other and in the community. The more secure we are, the less we need. And when the work is accomplished, the people say, "Amazing, we did it all by ourselves." The best leaders are barely heard. They strategize in the back rooms of life so that everyone is included. We influence people without using our authority. We use words carefully and sparingly. We lead with peace. We lead with presence. Our country and our congregation needs our leadership. A leadership that is open to the gift of unknowing, with no agenda and the softness of a pillow. The more secure we are, the less we need. Always able to go back to our mud pool. Perhaps reluctant leaders are the best leaders. Perhaps the ones who do not want to lead are exactly the ones who should lead. Our congregation, our community, and our country needs our wisdom and our humble way of being leaders. So may it be, and amen.